Do you ever struggle to trust that God is good? If you do, that's what we're talking about. I'm Megan, and this is One Thing for Your Day. I was talking to a friend who was going through some really hard stuff, and I point blank asked her, so how do you trust that God is good even when things are so hard? And my friend just responded with stories of how she saw God continually come through for her family over the years and over her life. How even when she didn't feel it and even when she didn't see it, she knows that God is at work in her life right now because He had proven that He was at work in her life in the past. She saw God's continued faithfulness over her life. And that is what grew her faith in God's goodness to be able to trust God with her life and in her storm in this moment. Little did she know, my family was facing some health scares of our own, and I was personally struggling to trust God's goodness. And listen, I understand from this larger picture that God is good, but whenever life storms come for me personally, come for us personally, it's a lot harder trusting God in the storm versus trusting God on the shore. You know what I'm saying? It becomes more than a comprehension of God's abilities, and it becomes a promise that I must grab hold of and grapple with and figure out if I believe it and if I can trust it. You see, to believe that God is good to you, that He is good for you, and that God is good to you and for you for His sake requires faith. And this is the kind of faith that is believing without seeing. This is the kind of faith that can hope towards a desired outcome while operating in the not yet. This is the kind of faith that believes the Lord is at work in His goodness, even when we can't see it, even when we can't feel it. And this is the hardest faith. This is the faith that shows us that we are not in control, and maybe this is where God wanted us to be all along, because it's placing all of our trust, all of our hope, all of our desired outcomes into the hands of God. And basically, this is how my friend answered my original question. God has proven His goodness over her life through His continual faithfulness to her and to her family, even when she couldn't see it, even when she couldn't sense it. Listen, the Lord has a unique ability to be able to carry all of our hope, all of our faith, all of our trust, and all of our doubt all meshed up together, and He can carry it easily. In the hardest times of struggling to trust God's goodness, I'm reminded of John 9:1-3, and it says this: As Jesus went on His way, He saw a man who had been born blind. His followers asked Him, "Teacher, whose sin made this man to be born blind? Was it the sin of this man or the sin of his parents?" And Jesus answered, "The sin of this man or the sin of his parents did not make him to be born blind. He was born blind so the work of God would be seen in him." Listen, if you hear nothing else, hear this. What Satan means for evil, God uses to amplify His goodness. What Satan uses for evil, it is that very thing that God is using in our life to amplify His goodness to you. I cling to this. You can cling to this, because this is a promise of God, and this is what enables us to be able to worship and love God even in the middle of the storms. Faith isn't a prayer that we just say one time. Faith is every single day, trusting, clinging to the goodness and the faithfulness of God. If you're encouraged by this, take a moment, share it with a friend. This is Megan, and that was One Thing for Your Day.